Hey everyone, good afternoon. I hope you're doing good. I come here today for a quick live to share a little bit about emotions. In the past 11 years or so, I've been on this sobriety journey and I was invited a lot about looking at my own emotions and my own traumas. And sometimes we think of traumas um, as something huge that has happened to us. Like we might look at our lives and we might say, like I haven't been in a violent family or haven't been in an abused family. Uh, but nonetheless, there are a lot of emotions that we went through from the age of 0 to 7 that we didn't have the emotional maturity to to process. So a lot of those emotions are being stored in our physical bodies. We're not just a physical body; we are also an emotional body and have an energetic body. But those emotions that haven't been processed are just being trapped into the physical body. And for most of us, it is in my belief that we construct our personalities based on those emotions that have been trapped in ourselves. So we're gonna develop protection mechanism to live our life and not to live out of those emotions that are trapped. But then there will come a time in our lives that those emotions can no longer stay into the physical body. It becomes too heavy in the physical body. It doesn't allow the energy to flow into in the physical body and the energetic body. So those emotions will start to be coming up, and it's not something that we see. Emotions is not something that we see, yet it has a huge impact in our lives. And in the past 2 years, I don't know about you, but for me, I've been on a huge emotional roller coaster. And this is not always easy to navigate. I've been supporting many people on their healing journeys for the past 4 years now. And but I'm still going through a lot myself. Any good practitioner has a practitioner as well to support in their own process. So I'm walking the talk. I'm addressing my own emotions. I go in as much as possible. And for me, those past 2 years has been an amazing, amazing opportunity to go inward. They were saying, well, stay home. Well, not only I stay home, but I go home. I go within myself and I am just being the observer of what is happening within myself. And when we take that stand of the observer, we're no longer a victim. We're taking responsibility for our emotional health. There's a lot of stuff that comes up to the surface. And a lot of people right now that I'm talking to are feeling a lot of anger, are feeling fear, or feeling depressed, or feeling discouraged. And that is all normal. They're simply dense emotions. Yet, we're not very well equipped at times to navigate through those emotions. We haven't been taught really how to deal with those deep emotions, those dense emotions. And actually, for some of us, I'm going to speak for myself, but with all the inner work that I've done, all the inner journey, all the healing, all, using different modalities, we sometimes become trapped into the belief system that the more work that we're doing on ourselves, the more stable we should be emotionally, and the more aligned we shall be with love and light. Well, this is freaking bullshit in a way, you know? Because we don't all live in a world of love and light. Even though I've done a lot of work on myself, I still feel some anger. I still feel some grief. I still feel resentment or even hatred sometimes. And because I'm feeling that, it's not that I haven't done any work on myself. It's not that I'm less of because of it. It is a trap. We're still feeling those emotions, but we're not projecting those emotions on other people. That's the difference. I am taking responsibilities for those emotions that are coming through me. And it's not because I'm feeling hatred or anger or resentment that I'm less of or that I haven't done any work on myself. And we are right now in a huge collective shift. The planet is rising its vibration. So we are rising in vibration as well. And that is a process. And through that process, what no longer serves us will come up to the surface. All those deep emotions that we haven't been addressed, or that are, buried within, that are stored in the organs, need to come out. Not to be projected on anybody else, but they need to be felt. For an emotion to be released, it needs to come up to the surface so that we can feel it, we can taste it, we can see it, and then we can release it. But we're not used of doing that. And it's a very uncomfortable process. We don't like to feel that way. We don't like to judge others. But we sometimes need to navigate that judgment and feel that judgment and observe ourselves into that judgment so that we can release it, and then we can feel some compassion. And it all starts with ourselves, really. Where do I have judgment for myself? When we're having an emotion towards somebody else or for an event, it is an invitation really to look at where we carry, in what we carry, because we can only see in others what we carry, and often it is quite difficult for ourselves to see ourselves. So we need one another in order to see ourselves. What we see, we carry at a very, very small scale or at a very big scale, but the other is simply there to help us mirror what we carry. When you're pointing the finger at someone, there's 3 fingers pointing towards you. So it is an invitation, whatever we see in others, whatever we see in situation, it is an invitation for us to go back within ourselves and to say, okay, do I still carry that? Why am I reacting to it? If you're reacting to it, it's because you're carrying that emotion. If you're no longer carrying that emotion, whatever is happening, whatever the person is saying, what a person is even doing, is not going to affect you anymore. You're just going to be looking at it, you're just going to be observing it, and you're not going to take it on. So we are being invited right now to do that inner journey, to do that inner work, to be observers of ourselves, and to welcome the emotions that are coming through. If they are coming through, if they're coming up, remember that they need to come up to the surface before they get released. So right now, in the collective, there's a lot of anger and of fear. Big, big, big time. And whatever is happening in the collective is amplifying what we're carrying. And it is only by doing that inner work of releasing those emotions, that we're helping the collective to release those emotions as well. So, where to start when all those emotions are coming up to the surface? Because there's people that are feeling that are going a bit crazy here, and I had that feeling as well. You know, sometimes there's a very fine line in between feeling crazy and feeling sane. And when we're feeling overwhelmed with all those emotions, anger, resentment, judgment, fear, sometimes we don't even know where to start, and sometimes we're going to try to find a band-aid for it. We're going to try to find an escape. We're going to try to get busy so that we're not feeling that, because it can be a bit scary to jump into those emotions. It's a process. It takes courage. It takes strength. It takes resilience. We don't like to carry resentment or hatred or fear of anger. And sometimes, I would even tell myself, well, oh my gosh, I've done so much work on myself, oh, I'm not feeling that. I don't want to be feeling that. I'm much better than this. I've done work on myself. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Nope, I'm human, and I have an emotional body, and those emotions are just coming through, and it's a normal process. So be gentle on yourself. Have compassion for yourself. Are you giving to yourself what you're giving to others? Sometimes we feel angry that we're feeling anger. You're just adding to it. So I will invite you to just welcome those emotions that are coming through. To be gentle with yourself. To don't vomit it on other people. Don't project it on other people. Just be mindful. Just stay the observer of yourself. Have compassion for yourself. And whatever emotions are coming through, a lot of grief is coming through as well in these days. Just sit with it. Just embrace it and sit with it. And if you feel like crying, well, just let it out. If you feel like screaming, just let it out. You don't need to attach any story to it and try to understand, why am I crying? Why am I feeling grief? Why am I feeling so much anger? We have the tendency to attach a story to what we're feeling, where emotions is simply energy in motion. It just wants to come through. So we don't need to attach any story to it. We don't need to go back in the past and dig and dig and dig and do all this hard work. We simply need to be present, to stay the observer, to tap into those emotions, to allow them to come through. And when everyone will be doing that, then there's going to be huge release. So be gentle on yourself. Welcome yourself exactly where you're at. And feel those emotions. Don't be scared of feeling those emotions. They're just simply denser in energy. And you're no less of because you're feeling them. On the contrary. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.